Christmas is just around the corner, so what better time to make a fast, homey quilt?
Our December quilt of the month is the perfect pattern. Hi, it's Fran Morgan.
And Hannah with Fabric Café.
There's something about a homemade quilt that is so comforting, especially around the holiday season.
It's cold outside, all you want to do is just cuddle up with a quilt.
So for our December quilt of the month, we picked a pattern that had that extra homey feeling.
Let's check it out. So our quilt of the month for December is Merry and Bright. And this one has such a nice homey feel to it. We have two traditional blocks that we all know and love. We have an easy 4-patch right here, which we just make a long strip assembly, cut off units, rotate one to make our cute little 4-patch block. And then we have a nice shoe fly. And I really like this too because we have our fabric number 1 in the center of it, so it adds that nice little pop right in the center. This quilt goes together super fast and it makes you feel nice and cozy. So let's take a look at how this quilt is constructed. First off, we have a very simple block. I think besides a square, a 4-patch is probably one of the easiest blocks to make.
I think I agree with you. Very simple.
First, you make a strip assembly, and I don't have a full strip assembly because we were cutting off pieces from it, making our pieces and parts.
Yes.
But this will be really long with the fabric strips sewn together on the long edges. Then you cut off a unit, or as Fran calls it, a piece of pizza or a piece of pie. I guess it should be pie this time because it's Christmas holiday season.
It's Christmas pie,
yeah.
And I like that. Well, it just makes me think, okay, let's slice off a piece of pie. That's so happy and yummy.
Yes. Oh, speaking, what's your favorite kind of pie?
Oh, my favorite pie. You know, I really love apple with ice cream.
Oh.
What's your favorite pie?
I think mine might be between a pumpkin or like a lemon something.
Ooh.
Because I really like lemon.
It's really hard to choose pie. What's your favorite pie?
Let us know.
But right now, we're going to do a quilt pie.
Maybe that's my favorite. It doesn't give me any calories.
I love it. You're right.
So it's the best.
Calorie-free pie.
Woo! So here we have our unit. We're going to cut a couple of those off, and then we're going to rotate one. Ta-da! And there's our 4-patch. Super fast and easy. And we do have our seam allowances on, so these are a little bit bigger.
Okay.
Ta-da!
Cute, cute, easy, simple.
Then our second one is kind of like a shoe fly is kind of like a 9-patch. So you're making a 4-patch and a 9-patch, but a fancy 9-patch.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
That is kind of cool. So it's just depends on what units you use, squares or triangles or, okay.
Yeah. So to start off, we're going to make another strip assembly, but this one has 3 fabrics, our number 2 and our number 1 in the center. Cut off another unit, and that's going to become the center of our shoe fly, which will go right here.
Ta-da.
And then for our sides, we're going to make 2 half-square triangles for either side. Ta-da. And then, actually, I'm going to turn the paper this way so it's easier to see. You're going to turn one this way, put your number 2 fabric, just a square in the middle, and then you're going to turn your half-square triangle facing the other direction so that we have this angular there. And then when you're going to make a bunch of those and then just rotate it. So here we have this. We'll rotate it for the other side of our block.
Perfect. Perfect, perfect. And that's really easy. I mean, and it makes, I think, such a traditional kind of charming block. I love the shoe fly. It's the shoe fly, churn dash, they're kind of similar. And I really like just the interest and the traditional element of it. It's so fun. Makes me think of family.
Yes, yeah, which holiday season
is all about family.
Exactly. So this is our beautiful pattern and how it goes together. You can see that nice block that we're talking about. But let's dive into our fabric.
Love this fabric. I was admiring it during the pieces and parts.
It's so pretty. We've got this number 1 fabric, which has all of these little trees on it with lots of different colors and prints, all scattered around on a navy backing, which I like having that navy in our Christmas quilts. It's a nice contrast.
I do too. Blue has become such a popular color. And I love this fabric because it's also not directional. The trees go all different directions, so you can turn your blocks like we did here, and they still look great.
Right. It doesn't matter that
it doesn't matter.
That's going to go everywhere in our 4-patch in one of our squares and in the center here and on our border. So that's fun too. We get a nice strip on our board.
Yeah.
For our number 2, we picked up that kind of multi-design that's in the tree, and we did this gray and white diamond. So it's a nice geometric pop.
Yeah, and doesn't every girl want diamonds for Christmas?
Oh, you can give yourself some. And these will go everywhere you see our cream here. It'll be the nice framing in our shoe fly block. And then for that extra pop of Christmas color, we've got a nice red, which will be part of our 4-patch, as well as our half square triangles and our shoe fly.
Love it. I love how the shoe fly in this is made with the focus fabric in the center and then our corners here in our number 3. I think that just adds so much more interest to the shoe fly, really gives it a lot of playfulness, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool.
I love the contrast between that blue and that red.
Yes.
It gives so much interest to the quilts.
I agree. And that gray is soft. It's not as stark white as a white would be, and it gives really nice texture. I also really like the way the 4-patch lines up and gives us that little step across diagonally on the quilt. I think it's so cool.
I never even noticed that.
I really like this. Before we give you the kit information on this, and that's coming shortly, I want to point out the quilt that is behind us. This quilt was our October quilt of the month, Garden Path, and it is from our Fast and Fun book.
And we're going to be sharing lots of photos of the quilts you all made of this pattern. And so we'll add that at the end. Plus, we're doing something a little bit extra this time.
Surprises
so be sure to
for
stay
Christmas.
tuned.
Okay.
All right, so the kit info on this one is Tree Farm, and it's using the pattern Merry and Bright, which is an individual.
Okay, our next kit is done in beautiful blues and golds. And you know, the last kit we just looked at with those really darling trees had a blue background too. So blue is becoming such a popular color for Christmas. And this is gorgeous. So we have kind of a leaf, like a holly leaf on a like a vine holly leaf, I guess. And all of the little center parts of the vine are metallic gold. So it gives us just a little glisten in our focus fabric. Now I want to point out too, this is a little bit smaller print, and this pattern is perfect for small prints. I love that because these are a little bit smaller blocks, so it's going to be great. So our focus fabric here is going to go everywhere you see the poinsettia, and of course in the middle of our shoe fly and that great border. Now we have paired our blue with a really crisp white that has a fairy dusting of metallic on it. Just a little silver. So just to give it that glisten. And that is going to go in the background of our shoe fly. And then to anchor it all, we have another really great navy, which matches our background. You know how we love to do that. And that is going to be everywhere the red is. So our half square triangles here really help that design pop on this.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, it's going to be in our 4-patch as well. And as you can see, that's going to look great. But let's just show you an image so that you can see what it looks like. I love this.
It's beautiful.
The blues and whites are just something that is spectacular. And what's really cool about this is often blues kind of go to the cool tones for winter, but this is very warm.
That's true, with that pop of gold.
Yeah, I really, really like this. It's a really nice soft white, and it gives that really crispness. And I think this is a quilt that could be out all winter long.
Yeah, it definitely has a very wintry wonderland kind of feel.
Yeah, I really, really like it. So the kit information on this one is Winter Shimmer. And once again, it's our Merry and Bright pattern that is our December quilt of the month.
All right, so we're changing directions a little bit, and we're stepping away from Christmas, and we've pulled a batik kit. Because any 3 yards works with any of our patterns. This doesn't have to be a Christmas pattern. You can put whatever you want in it.
I love that.
It'd be great.
I love it. I love seeing it when we take a Christmas pattern or a patriotic pattern or a spring pattern and we put new fabric in it. That's one of my favorite things that we do.
Yeah, I love it. So for our number 1 fabric, we have this really cool geometric that kind of has this fanfare effect on it. So it has a lot of movement.
It does.
And it's a great design on this mottled blue and green batik, which is just so delicious.
It really is.
And that's going to go everywhere we see our floral here and on our border and in the center of our shoe fly. And then our number 2 is just this textural mottled gray batik, but it does have some of those hints of like blue and green in it.
It does.
Which is really
pretty. It's a really pretty batik.
That's going to go everywhere you see our cream. And then for our number 3, it's this black textural kind of paisley circular sort of design, or kind of leaf. It kind of looks like a leaf. Yeah. And it's this black, gray, dark navy, and it picks up some of those darker colors in the background of our focus.
Wow.
And that will go everywhere you see our red.
This is a beautiful set of batik. Gorgeous, moody, and rich, and yummy, and would be a great gift too, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
The fabric is gorgeous, but when you put it all together and you see it, it is really good, Hannah.
I love it. I love the way that shoe fly looks because there's so many different colors in the focus on this one, so it almost looks like they're moving. Because of all of the different colors peeking out.
The shading is kind of giving it that gradated feel, which is so neat.
It's so pretty.
It really is.
This one turned out stunning. And it, like Fran said, it would be the perfect gift for you or for a loved one.
Yes.
Now, we also are running a special deal just for y'all. We are doing 10% off of the downloadable pattern of Merry and Bright. There's a code on the screen, so you can see that there. This deal will run from today until the end of December, so you can get those patterns and start quilting.
Yeah, and we always love a good deal at Christmas.
Absolutely. All right, so the kit information on this one is Blue Ridge Batiks, and it's using the pattern Merry and Bright.
Okay, we have another kit for you for a Merry and Bright pattern, and all I want to do is go, yay!
I thought of you when I saw this one.
I love this fabric. Okay. I love bold color and bold fabrics, and these are my colors. This green and the blue, it is so good. And it's like all this, it's kind of an abstract, kind of a square on top of a square on top of a square, almost like you threw confetti on the ground and it all landed there, and it's in all these beautiful shades. What a gorgeous focus fabric. This is going to go everywhere. You see the floral here in the center of our shoe fly, our 4-patch, and our border, and I cannot wait to see this image. Okay, I'm going to show you the 2 and 3 though, because I'm going to be patient. All right. Our number 2 fabric. It is very warm. It has some lights and darks. It just has a hint of beige to it, just to kind of keep it from being too cool. It's very warm, and I really like that.
Just very soft texture.
Yes. This is going to be our background of our shoe fly here, and it's going to really help our blue abstract pop, which is really what we want to do. Then for our number 3, we have just a simple textured blue that looks like little dots that create these little kind of hexagon patterns. It's very cool. This is the perfect shade of blue to go with our focus fabric. And I like that it's a little bit more simple because it's going to give us lots of contrast on our points right here, because our blue will be everywhere the red is, then in our 4-patch and on our binding. And it really pops off the focus as well as our number 2 fabric. I love the way that, once again, we have blues, but they didn't go too cool. The number 2 fabric has kept it very warm, but yet very contrasting.
Very.
Which is what we need here.
You can really see that shoe fly design on that block because of the contrast between the number 2.
Yes, and I also really like the way the focus fabric seems to have dimension to it. So whenever you put that on the border and in that 4-patch, and that little peekaboo in the center of that shoe fly, it almost looks like you could reach your hand into it, which I think is like you can go in there and grab it, but so much dimension, so much texture, just gorgeous.
And that electric blue pop is just right.
Yes. Now, one of the really cool things that we love to do and share with you is we like to put our patterns on prequilt.com. Now, Prequilt is a coloring program that you can go in and color your quilts so you can see what they're going to look like.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to play with your own fabric as well in this pattern. So if you have something in your stash you want to use, it would be really great. So check that out, prequilt.com.
We have this pattern and even more available on there.
It's awesome. All right, let's get you the kit information on this beautiful blue kit. It is called Blue Groove, and it is our Merry and Bright pattern.
So for our next kit, we have a beautiful floral, and this floral is a little bit smaller in scale, which Fran mentioned earlier. You do have slightly smaller blocks, so you want to go with a kind of smaller print, and this is the perfect size to go in these blocks.
Yes.
And it's so cozy. It's so soft. We have these beautiful oranges and pink floral on here.
I really like it with the little pops of green on the leaves, on the really dark, moody background. I love it when our #1 has a dark background.
Yeah, adds so much drama.
Yeah, it just really adds a lot.
And so this is gonna go in your 4-patch, as well as on the border in our little Shoo Fly peekaboo. And then we paired it with this really soft cream that has this really soft texture, kind of a thatched texture, and that's gonna go everywhere you see this light color here. And for our #3, we picked up the petals that are in all of the florals. We picked it up with this really, it's like a smaller version of our big floral, but they're all packed together, and so it's this nice, rich orange, creamy gold floral.
And it's really neat because, once again, I love fabrics that have the lights and the darks in it. It goes to our beige, which is our #2, so that's perfect. And then it goes into the really deeper terracottas and oranges.
Ooh, yeah.
It's really nice. I think it's
rich.
Perfect.
And that's going to be everywhere you see the red on this quilt.
Very, very good.
And you can see on the screen how those colors blend together so well.
It's like a flower garden, all blooming
Yes.
right on your surface of your quilt. And love that #1 on the border.
Yes.
It just brings it all in and brings it together. It's very sweet.
And how interesting, with the focus being the darkest fabric in the quilts, it gives that Shoo Fly a different look because the darkest is in the center. So it's like things are shooting out from it, which is a really fun, different kind of look.
I love that. I had not noticed that, but good observation. I like it there, yes.
This is why there's 2 of us, because we both notice things. All right, the kit information for this one is Blooming Delight, and it is, again, using the Merry and Bright pattern.
Okay, our next fabric is so much fun. I think Hannah gave me all of the abstract purple and blue and green to talk about because
yeah, maybe.
She knows I love these colors. And here's another one that is just so cool. So, and this is a really neat print for our focus print. It's like a circular design with the green and then the purple and then the blue in the center. Then it kind of reverses, and this one has the blue on the outside and the green. And it just looks like little, I don't know, tiles or something.
Oh, yeah.
It's very neat, and I like the way that it just, all these concentric circles are coming together and overlapping with this pattern. It's very fun. So this is going to go, of course, in our 4-patch where the floral is, in the center of our Shoo Fly and on the border, and it's going to give, once again, a lot of depth and dimension to the quilt. So for our #2 fabric, we've pulled in the cream from the background here and made it a very simple print so that it wasn't competing with all of these circles going on, which I think is very nice because it's going to contrast. And it will be the background of our Shoo Fly here. So perfect. Then for our #3, we are going to anchor it all with this gorgeous texture. And this has lights and darks, and our lights go to the more blues and grays that are in our focus, all the way up to our rich eggplants. And it is just so perfect with this. It's a very interesting texture too. It's got like circular movement with some speckles in it. It's very, very cool.
Yeah, I really like this one. This is a new one for us, and I'm very excited about it.
I like it too. So purple, #3, everywhere the red is, in our half square triangles. And it is also on the binding, and it is going to anchor everything and just make it look spectacular. Let's give it a peek. So as you can see, that focus fabric gives it the movement and the texture.
Absolutely.
So cool.
Yeah.
And the purple is the most yummy shade of purple.
And I love it on the binding, like you mentioned. It really gives a frame to the whole quilt.
Just a little small frame, and it's really great, but then the depth of that number 1 is perfect. All right, let's get you the kit information on this. It is called Joyful Spirals, and the pattern is Merry and Bright, which is our December quilt of the month.
Like we mentioned at the top, we do have some amazing photos of your quilts for our October quilt of the month, so let's check them out. First off, we have Blake, and this is such a beautiful version of the Garden Path quilts. I love all of those beautiful colors you pulled. It's very soothing.
It really is. Well done. It looks very precise as well.
Yeah, very nice.
Very nice. Our next quilt was sent in by Suzette, and wow, I love this fun colorway. And she added a 4th fabric for her border number 1, which gives it a really great pop of color. I really like that, Suzette.
Really beautiful. Now Michelle, she couldn't decide if she wanted to do red or green for her fabric number 3. So she just decided to do both, which I love. It was so creative.
That is so great.
Isn't that great?
Oh my gosh.
I love the way she alternated it in her rows. So each diagonal is a different color.
It is, and then she split the borders.
Yeah.
It is
Great
awesome.
job, Michelle.
All right, now Denise also did the Garden Path, and she added 1 vertical row on the end of her quilts so that she could submit it to Quilts of Valor. Now she used layer cakes on the squares, and she used light colored strips in the center of block B. And look at that cool custom backing she did. Who said you can't piece your backing too?
Oh yeah, exactly. It's
Great
gorgeous.
job.
All right, now Beverly, near and dear to my heart, she did Halloween gnomes. And she did an additional fabric for her binding. So she has this pop of lime green on the binding.
Ooh, love. Beverly, that was so great. Good job. So Anita sent this one in, and she has really enjoyed the quilt of the month. She has been sewing up patterns that she's never done before, so it's really been fun for her. And you did a great job on this one, Anita. I really love it. It's got that Christmas feel, which we're kind of getting in the spirit of that. It looks super. Good job.
Next we have Bonnie, and Bonnie used fat quarters in her fabric number 2 position, which is super creative. Yeah. And she added an extra fabric on her border, plus she also used 2 different fabrics on her diagonal, which I love, but she alternated it.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. That was so smart, Bonnie. I love how creative you guys are, and you're taking these as blank canvases and doing neat things with them. So Nancy made this one, and she made this quilt with no one in mind, but when she went and visited her sister-in-law, this was perfect for her. So Nancy has made 17 3-yard quilts.
Whoa!
That is awesome, Nancy. Hey, I love your colors on this.
So
great
pretty.
Contrast, beautiful.
We have Molly, and we have more Halloween gnomes. I took all the Halloween gnomes because I love gnomes and Halloween, so. And she quilted this one herself on her domestic machine with bats and spider webs.
Oh,
and it's so cool. You did a really good job, Molly, on the quilting. I'm super impressed.
So Kathleen sent in this version of Garden Path. Now she made it all with flannels.
Ooh, soft, cozy.
Oh yes, so the number 1 fabric was gifted to her by her friend Patrice because she didn't know what to do with all those flannels. Well, Kathleen, you did amazing. Now sadly, Patrice has passed away, but this quilt is a beautiful tribute to her memory, and I totally agree. Great job.
Absolutely. Great job, Kathleen. Thank you so much to everyone who sent in your photos. We get lots of ideas and inspiration from them.
And we're going to do something a little special today. We have gotten so many pictures from all of you. We haven't been able to share them all in the videos.
So we're going to pop up a few more on the screen from some of our previous challenges so that everyone else can get to see these amazing photos.
So thank you so much for sending your photos. We are so inspired by you. We love your color selection. We love the little tweaks that you're doing with the patterns. It is so creative, and really, Seriously, you inspire us to do even more.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And if you would like to send a picture of your quilts, send them to welisten@fabriccafe.com.
And if you would like to see what our November quilt of the month was, then be sure to watch the video that pops up.
Happy quilting.